Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. It's been a while. How's your summer been? Mine has been great. And today we're going to talk about cherry tomatoes. What on earth do you do with them? They are prolific producers, say that 3 times fast, and they can get out of hand sometimes. And you bring in just bowls after bowls, and a lot of people really don't know how to preserve them. I know at first it was a little bit confusing to me. Can we can them? Should we dehydrate them? Can we freeze them? The answer is yes to all those things you can do. I have done some, I don't really like them frozen in my opinion. It's just not my preferred method. But I love them canned, and this year I've also been dehydrating them, which you've seen in my previous short to this video. So today, let's see, how do you can them? Is it hard? Is it complicated? The answer is no. It's super duper easy. I don't know why more people don't talk about it, but it has definitely been one of the huge questions this season, this harvest season, that I've seen so common. And a lot of people are like, oh, you can't can tomatoes with the skins on. Come on, of course you can. Our grandmothers and mothers did it for years and years, and I've done it for several years, and we are all fine. You need to know the safe canning rules. I'm not saying you have to follow the books from the letter agencies, because I don't. What you do is you read, you do your research, you know what works and what is safe and what is not. And also, I don't add acid to my tomatoes while canning. Oh, I know, everybody's freaking out now. 2 big no-nos, but trust me, it's delicious. And I actually found another YouTube video, and that's how I got brave enough to give it a try. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and we're going to talk about how do we go about it. It's so simple, it's going to blow your mind. Alrighty, let's go over what equipment I have. I have 9 jelly quart jars. I already have a bunch of, or these are pint jars, I'm sorry. I already have a bunch of quarts, so I wanted to do some pints. I have a sharp knife with a point on it. The reason being is we're going to poke a little hole in the skin just so that when we press them down into the jars, they burst and we can fit as many as possible in there. I also have my canning lids and my canner. You can use whatever kind of canner you would like to. I'm going to be using my Roots and Harvest electric water bath canner, and I'm going to water bath these for about 40 minutes on a rolling boil. And I say about because sometimes the water goes down since I'm going to steam can these. And if that happens, then that happens at like 35 minutes. Then I'll add a little more water and we'll continue on. And sometimes when you add the water, it brings the boil down just slightly. Of course, you always add boiling water, and it should keep it to temp, and then you can continue on. So all I'm going to do is just lay them stem hole down and poke a hole in the skin. That's it. Simple, easy peasy. And then I'm just going to start loading them into the jars. You want to load them in as full as you possibly can, shoving them down. If you do not shove them down and smash them a bit, they will cook down and you will only have half a jar of cherry tomatoes. You can add water to these. I'm just cold packing them, and I'm not going to add anything because these are nice and ripe and juicy, and once I've smashed them, they will release a lot of juice. And they don't need extra in my opinion because they will be completely covered in the juice that they produce. So this is not hard. Just giving them a little stab. It really doesn't matter where you stab them. You don't have to stab them. They will burst. But the thing is if you stab them, you're going to make a controlled burst and the seeds and everything is not going to squirt all over you, which is no fun. That one just had a very small blemish, so I just cut it off. See, the jar is starting to look pretty full here in a moment. Once it gets to the rim, we're going to shove these all down and it'll probably go down to about half full. And if I wouldn't have smashed them, that's how full the jar would have been once they cooked down and released all their juices. That one has too many blemishes. You want to use your best cherry tomatoes, the nice, soft, juicy ones. Nice and ripe. That one was no good. Now we're to the top and we're just going to give them a squish. And you can see all the juice and seeds coming out. And like I said, now we're back down to about half full again. So I'm just going to continue filling these jars and I'll meet back up with you when they are all full and ready to go into the canner. I just wanted to show you real quick how full this jar is. Let me get it there so you can see all the way to the rim here. And you can see all the juices have covered the tomatoes. And the other thing that you can do is if you have fresh basil coming in, you can take the fresh basil, wash it real good, and slice it up real thin and throw it in there. You can salt these. You can add whatever you like, some garlic, some onions, some peppers, whatever you prefer. That's up to you. I'm just going to do these ones plain, and I think the next batch I'm going to add in the basil that I'm going to have coming in out of the garden. Here is an alternative way, I should say, to can them is to leave them so they're not smashed all the way down. I did fill it with water because this way you're not releasing all the juices. So you will need to either add tomato juice, water, whatever you typically use. You could flavor it with balsamic vinegar if you want. There's all kinds of things that you could do. So here it is. You can see all the whole, and when I open this up, I will have more of a whole cherry tomato instead of smashed cherry tomatoes, which that's also has its uses. I love these to put on pizzas and in sauces, and I need to stop the cat from jumping on the table. All right, let's clean some rims. Let me get the jars where you can see them a bit better. Clean the rims. We're going to wipe each rim, make sure there's no food or any debris. You know, there's a lot of seeds in tomatoes. And then I'm going to take my finger with some water and I'm going to run my finger around the rim of the jar so that I can feel for any imperfections, which I already checked before I loaded the jars just because I didn't want to have to unload them. But I'm just going to do that again. Also, it just double checks that there's not any food in the way. What you're feeling for is cracks or anything that would cause the jar to not seal properly. And I have my lids over here in some nice hot water. There's a seed right there. We're going to get that out of the way. And I forgot to bring my rings over. Let me go grab some rings real quick. Alrighty. And we're just going to put the ring on the jar, or the lid on the jar, and put the ring on finger tight. I like to press down. I'm not cranking these jars tight. You don't want that or it'll buckle. I'm just pressing that lid rubber down into the jar. It's probably not necessary. I just seen a lady do that, and I haven't had any problems with my jar sealing since I've done that, since I've done water on the lid and water on the mouth of the jar and pressing down. It also kind of forces the lid to sit, I didn't mean to push that button down, to sit evenly in the space it should be. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lids and rings on the rest of these. We're going to get them in the canner and get them started. Now these jars are room temperature, so I have my pitcher of room temperature water, and I'm just going to pour it in to the fill line. Alright, I need one more pitcher of water. Second pitcher of water going in. Alrighty, we can take a look. There they all are. Now you'll notice my water is not over the jars. Like I said, I'm going to be steam canning. If you're curious about that, I would go ahead and do some research on what steam canning is and how to go about it. And I'm going to set my timer for 40 minutes, put the lid on, turn it on, or I will set my timer for 40 minutes after it comes to a boil, sorry. Then we will be good to go. So I will see you in the morning when these are all done canning and we're ready to put them away. And here they are out of the canner this morning, and all the jars have sealed. So I'm going to go ahead and label them and put them into the food storage. Here's a close look. Aren't they pretty in the jars? Very pretty. All right, and that was your step-by-step on how to can cherry tomatoes. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait till the next one. Have a wonderful day.